Hello and good morning to everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. Today, we are going to be talking about some of the highlights that came out of our xMatters latest release called Ninja. But like every other web meeting you have attended, please feel free to leave any comments or questions in the chat, as we will have time reserved after the demo to go over any of those questions. But first, a few disclaimers for you that we have to go through. This session is intended for xMatters customers or prospective customers. It is subject to all published fair use policies and other terms and conditions. If you would like more information, it is always available at xmatters.com/policy. Now, let me introduce myself along with my presenters. So my name is Belinda Joseph, and joining me today is Corey Blakeborough. Corey has been a solution architect with xMatters for just 6 months. So welcome, Corey. Corey's background is in solution architecture, solution engineering, and DevOps software engineering. So we are very happy to have Corey as part of the xMatters team. But before I pass things over to him, let me first set the stage about what Corey is going to be showing you today. So last month, the Ninja release stealthily made its way to our customers. And so for those of you who may not know, this was named after the classic video game Ninja Gaiden. This was the side-scrolling beat-em-up arcade game where wily ninjas vanquish their enemies and save the world from 2 demonic statues. I know, it's pretty crazy, right? Well, you might not have any evil statue problems, but the action-packed Ninja release will save you time, toil, and temper while managing your digital services. While our service dependencies map still to show for managing digital service interruptions, this release also features enhancements for automating your digital and business responses, new reporting that seamlessly spans current and historical data to display all of your alerts in one place, and so much more. So for a full list of features included in the Ninja release, you can head over to support.xmatters.com and check out the product update section for the Ninja release overview. But for today's demo, we're going to focus on some of the most exciting updates to our service and incident management capabilities. xMatters incident management features help you connect your tools and teams, facilitate collaboration, and automate manual processes with ease, while also providing data to inform and continuously evolve your incident resolution processes. So in this Ninja release, we enhance the incident management capabilities of our service catalog, adding further ways to collaborate on incident response. The xMatters platform is designed to help you respond faster during a crisis, and embedding services into incident management helps supercharge your response to digital service interruption. The Ninja release takes advantage of these new features to help define and explore the relationships between your services and engage service owners more quickly. So now on to the exciting part, the reason why you are here. So I'm going to go ahead and pass the ball over to Corey, and he's going to walk you through this exciting new release.
All right, thank you very much, Belinda. I am very excited to be here today to demonstrate our new service catalog and our incident management features. So you are looking at right now the new service dependencies map. And this will let you visualize all of the different relationships between all of your business, your technical, and your external services, all defined here in your service catalog. Now you can use this dependencies map for really any given service to define and explore how that service relates to other services in your architecture. You can also access this same service dependencies map for an incident, which opens up even more possibilities. It lets you view which services are impacted by that incident. It lets you investigate other services that might be affected, and it even lets you identify a potential root cause. Now, dependencies are the relationships between your services, and so when those services are defined here in your service catalog, our dependencies map lets you visualize those relationships. So the direction of the arrows here indicates what a given service depends on. So in this case, the web UI service depends on the API gateway service, for example. And today we're going to build a simple service map just like this one. And then we're going to see how it comes into play when a service is actually impacted by an incident. Now, I will say it is worth noting that the scenario we're about to go through does build a clean and simple map, but the service dependencies map encompasses all your users and services in your instance. So in practice, the map does get more complex very quickly as those services start to connect together. So with that said, let's create two new services. I'm going to head over to the service catalog, and then I'm going to click our add service button here at the top right. I'm going to give my service a name and a description and set an owner. Now, service names need to be unique. And I did just mention that the service map can get very complex. So ideally, these names should also really be easy to identify at a glance. The last thing you really want to do is try to figure out how service 24 and service 27 are different. So we are naming this our mobile app, which is our mobile interface for our online order system. And we have to give it an owner as well. So we're going to call this app, and we're going to say this is owned by the mobile app team. That's one of our groups here in xMatters, and I'll hit save. And that's going to immediately take me to our service map. Now, with only one service here on the map, there is not a whole lot to look at yet. So we should add a few more services here, and then we can actually define some relationships between them. So first, I'm going to add an existing service from that service catalog to the map, and then I'm also going to show you how to create a brand new service without ever having to even leave this screen. And both of those things can actually be done with the help of our search bar here. There's actually 3 different ways to use it. First, you can locate a service already on the map. That's pretty helpful if your map already contains a lot of services and maybe some of the branches are collapsed. And when you select that service, it gets highlighted. And if the dependencies to it were collapsed, they actually get expanded automatically. And that's incredibly useful, but since we only have one service on our map right now, it's not quite useful yet, but we'll get to it later on. Our second option is to add an existing service here to the map. You can either enter the name and search for, or just scroll through and click add, and that will add it immediately to the map. And you can also create a brand new service right here from the search bar by entering a unique service name, again, that doesn't exist yet, and then it'll give you the option to create that service. So I'm going to show you all 3 of those capabilities. First, I'm going to add the API gateway service to our map. You can see it there in the list, but I'm going to go ahead and search for it just to show you the autocomplete functionality there and click on add. Now, when this service is added, it is initially locked here to my mouse, but once I click on the map, that's when the location is set. So in terms of where to place this, service dependencies are shown left to right. And since the mobile app is going to depend on the API gateway, we're going to place this API gateway service to the right of our mobile app service, and that'll make it easier to connect them together. Now, the alignment doesn't have to be perfect or anything like that, because the map will auto align this as soon as it's refreshed anyway. Right now, we're really only just defining the dependencies. So now that this is placed, I can click on this connector point here for the mobile app, and I can just drag it over to the API gateway. And just like that, the mobile app now depends on the API gateway service. And that's it. Now, let's use the search bar to go ahead and create a completely new service. I'm going to call this one our desktop client. And I just type it in. And since it doesn't exist yet, the only option here is to add it as a new service. And when I click on it, we have the same add service window just like before. And so just like before, I'm going to add some fields and information. In this case, this is our desktop app interface for the same online order system. And again, give it an owner. In this case, it's going to be the desktop app team, another group here within my xMatters instance. I'll hit save, and just like before, it's locked to my mouse. Let's place it on the map. I will go ahead and put this above the mobile app service, but still to the left here of the API gateway, since I also do want this service to depend on the API gateway service. And now I can use the connector points once again to connect to the API gateway. And now we have another dependency here created. And when I click on another service here, our newly created desktop client service, for example, an information card appears. It lets me see any active incidents for that service. Of course, there are none quite yet. We'll see some in a bit. And the owner as well, which is information that's incredibly useful to have at a glance, but you also can have a view service link here at the bottom, and clicking on that will actually take you to the dependencies map for that service. So it's actually very easy to jump from map to map by clicking on the view service link in this information card. Now we are looking at the dependencies map for our desktop client service. Now our mobile app is not here right now, but it's not gone. We just simply have to expand out the list of services that depend on the API gateway, and it's back. We see it again. So ultimately, at this point, we are looking at several services here in our map, and honestly, there are even more to explore. You can see that we can expand out in both directions here, depending on what we need to see. So we might want to find something with the search bar. So let's look for the cart service. and you can find it on the map by clicking on it here. Once I do, you can see everything expands immediately, and the cart service is highlighted here on the map, so we can easily locate it. Obviously, as your map fills up with all these direct or indirect dependencies, having that ability to find a collapsed dependency on the map is really useful. And just to show you, if I wanted to delete one of these connectors, I just have to click on it and use the 3 dots here, and then there's an option to delete the dependency. I'm not going to do that right now because I do want that mobile app to depend on the API gateway, but just to show you that that is a possibility. Now, you can actually add as many services as you want here to the map, but if they're not connected to anything, they just get removed when that map is refreshed. And that's because our service dependencies map only shows the dependencies. That's what it's there for. So if there are no dependencies between the service you're looking at and the one you added to the map, when you refresh that map, any unconnected services like that don't persist. So we have now created some good looking services, and we have mapped out their dependencies, so we can actually see now how they're actually going to interact with the incident console. And based on this view, as you would expect, this will help you explore the relationships between your impacted services, but it goes several steps further. For one, it helps you identify any potential root causes of incidents, and it also helps you engage service owners of your impacted services a lot more quickly. So to illustrate, I'm going to create an incident, and then we're going to add services to that incident, and we're going to see how it all works together. I will say, if you're new to xMatters, in our incident management process, we do cover that in more depth in our incident management demo days video. So please feel free to check that one out too. But today, I'm going to create an incident a little more quickly. So to do that, I'm just going to go click on incidents. I'm going to initiate an incident and choose this particular trigger an incident form. And once I do, I'll fill out just a couple of example details of something that might have gone wrong here with our online ordering system. And let's say that our users are unable to complete orders here from, coincidentally, both the mobile app and the desktop client, the 2 services I just created. What are the odds? So now the severity, we'll keep that at medium. And of course, for the demo's sake, I will add myself here as a recipient. So we will go ahead and submit that to create our incident, and everything will sort of fire off here. We'll be taken to our incident console. And right away, you can see the impacted services section here at the top. So I can hit edit here and add in the services impacted by my incident. In this case, it would be our mobile app, of course, and our desktop client. I will hit save to add those as impacted services here to the incident. And I do want to know here, in this case, I did manually add those services to the incident, but it could have also been done as part of an automation workflow when the incident was first created. So while this was done manually, we absolutely can and do automate this at times as well. So now that these services are added, we can continue to see what we can do with them. So first of all, you can click on a service to get this important information, a lot of which we saw earlier. Now you can see that there is one incident, and you can see based on the color and hovering over, you can see that the highest severity incident here is medium severity. So you can also see the owner again, of course, and there is an additional button here called Notify to Engage. So if I want to engage the service owner of the desktop client service, the on-call service owner, I simply have to click on Notify to Engage, and I'll do that right now. And you can see that the desktop app team gets added to our resolvers panel down here, and they begin to be notified. This is actually one of the most powerful features of the incident console, and honestly where xMatters really excels, which is the ability to quickly scale up this incident response. Because it goes from being just me looking at this incident to immediately and effortlessly having all of the resolvers I need from so many different areas of the business, and I don't even have to know who those resolvers are. Because as the incident commander, I can see the list of services here that are impacted by the issue, and as I click on each service, I can immediately see who owns the service and if they've already been engaged. And if they have, of course, I can click on See Resolver here to find that service owner quickly in the list of my, my already engaged resolvers. And of course, if they have not, as I showed before, you can click on Notify to Engage, and you can absolutely engage them immediately to assist here with your incident. it's really effortless. It allows you to scale up your response and really quickly gather the right resources from across the business to collaborate here on your issue resolution. So this is an incredibly helpful feature. I can also click here on this View Dependencies button for even more. This is what I was alluding to before, where I can get a better understanding here of the relationships between my impacted services, and even get a glimpse as to what services might be at the root of the problem. You might have noticed here a few things, right? First of all, the icons next to these services are different colors. I mentioned this briefly before, but when a service is associated with one or more active incidents, the color of its icon indicates the highest severity of those incidents. In this case, we have a severity of high here for this particular service. Now, you also might notice that this service here on the right is inflamed. Now, what's really great here is that xMatters has performed this intelligent traversal of our full dependencies graph beyond even just what we are showing here on the map. And that's going to help us know where the root cause of this issue might be. So this service here that's inflamed, it's the lowest level related service that is currently experiencing an issue. And that essentially just means that I should focus my investigation there first as a potential root cause. And again, as I showed, once I click this, I can see those incidents, I can jump to those incidents, and I can also see the service owner. And that helps me engage those teams really quickly if I need to. So that is all I have to share today for the demonstration. I hope you really enjoyed this quick run through of this new service dependency mapping feature, and honestly how it's used as well with our existing incident management features. So now I will turn it back over to Belinda to help us wrap up.
Fantastic. That was awesome. Thank you so much, Corey, for walking us through that amazing demo. So just to kind of quickly recap what we've seen today. So we've seen how the new service dependency mapping and incident management capabilities help supercharge your response to digital service interruptions, also accelerating your ability to explore the relationships between services and making sure that you're able to really engage the right teams to more quickly coordinate issue resolution. All right, so Corey, we're gonna have to ask you to come right back on for us because we are now to the important part of or the second most important part of our demo, and that's the Q&A portion. So we do have another question here. Can you make routing or escalation decisions based on which services are impacted?
Yeah, absolutely. So when you are in an incident, that question is referring to. Yeah, so can you make routing or escalation decisions based on which service is impacted? You can absolutely make specific decisions on who to engage and who to notify within your incident based on what's impacted. The idea ultimately being that you can continue to engage and involve additional teams and additional services within your incident based on what is impacted. You can also absolutely add services to many locations in the application as including in Flow Designer, which will allow you to rope in additional teams and members in terms of assignment and in terms of finding the right on-call user, not necessarily just in those windows. So the ability to add services to various locations in the application will help you perform some of those functions and really be able to rope in specific services, perhaps based on what's impacted. So for example, if you know that a service is coming in to Flow Designer as a trigger, and you know which service is impacted, you can use that service to essentially help you assign that alert or go through the escalation tree for that alert to understand and know right off the bat who should be the on-call user, who that should assign who the alert should be sent to, excuse me, and who it should escalate to. Beyond that, we can absolutely talk more about specific questions, but there are absolutely more capabilities throughout the application in terms of how these services can be used and mapped and sort of enrich your existing workflows.
Great, thank you. I think we have time for one more, and this one is, can you restrict who has permission to create or edit services?
Yeah, of course, absolutely. So everything in xMatters is roles and permissions based, of course. So of course, along with these new service catalog features, we also have, as we do, added specific permissions for the creation and editing, or honestly, even just the viewing of these services. And those permissions can be added or removed from any role. So yes, absolutely you can.
Great. All right. Well, thank you, Corey. So that'll conclude our Q&A portion. Just a few more items to cover with the audience. If you did like what you saw today, you can definitely try it for yourself with xMatters free. And you can do that today by going to xMatters/sign up. Or if you prefer to get a personal demo from one of our experts like Corey, you can also make that request at xmatters.com/demo. All right. Well, a few other things to wrap up with. Also, you guys are more than welcome to follow us online. Definitely follow us on your channel of choice, whether that's Twitter, LinkedIn, or Facebook, where we share even more information, and we would love to connect with you. So that will conclude our webinar for today. Huge thanks to Corey again for walking us through the Ninja release highlights. That was absolutely amazing. I hope you guys are excited about what you saw today. Definitely please reach out if you would love to learn more. Thank you to our guests for joining us, and this concludes today's Demo Days event. Have a wonderful day.